Hello guys, excuse me. How are you guys today? I am going to Target and I figured that instead of going to the Target I usually go to, I'm going to go to one a little bit further out and do a video so I can talk to you guys. Do you ever do that? There's like your home Target, and then sometimes I find really good stuff at the Targets that I don't typically go to. But either way, welcome to my intriguing life, spending time on a weekend going to a different Target than my normal Target. So intriguing. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about today is something that I saw Dr. Dre did a video talking about this. I also saw a couple of other YouTubers talk about this idea, and now that I'm on TikTok, I really see a lot of stuff that I, wouldn't be seeing prior to it, because TikTok is just such a, I hate to describe it like a clusterfuck, but it kind of is a clusterfuck of just good stuff and a lot of nonsense too, all on the same app, and you never know what your timeline is going to give you, whether it's something positive, something negative, something in between, something sad, something happy. Algorithms work in really funny ways sometimes, but this is something I've seen several times, and it's these ads for ADHD medication. So it'll be a company that you can get, Adderall from, or other medications. They have they have ads for like anxiety too, but a lot of it is ADHD. And before we get into the rest of this conversation, obviously, please remember, I am not a doctor. I don't work in the medical field. I don't work in the mental health field. I'm just someone who spends time on social media and has a YouTube channel where I do commentary. So I am not speaking from a clinical standpoint. I'm not speaking from a professional standpoint. But I do believe that just knowing what I do know, I personally believe that these ads that are being placed can be very harmful, because the way that they are presented to the person that's coming across it is they say signs you might have ADHD, or some of them are not as careful and some of them say signs you have ADHD or signs you have anxiety. And the symptoms that they list out are things that all of us do. Listening to a song on repeat. The anxiety portion might be like, you don't want to go to your friend's wedding. These are all things that people experience because sometimes we're just having a tough day. Sometimes life might have handed you a card that you weren't ready to deal with. So you're having a tough day or a tough week or even a tough month. A lot of times they'll also talk about OCD, and with OCD it'll be like, you have to organize your kitchen once a week. I mean, that to me says that maybe the person is just really organized. Maybe the person likes to have labels on their, spice rack. Easily be someone who comes across one of those ads and sees the symptoms and is self-diagnosing themselves with a condition that might not even be accurate, which is crazy. Especially if you're in a position with your mental health where you're feeling frustrated and maybe you haven't been diagnosed with anything, but you are struggling, and then you come across one of those ads make you self-diagnose yourself, and then let's just say that you're in a position where maybe you don't have health insurance, and one of these companies is saying, hey, talk to us, you need to be taking Adderall, or you need to be taking this anti-anxiety medication, but you haven't even seen a doctor, and you're self-diagnosing over social media because of an ad that you came across when you were having a really tough day or a tough week. So I don't know. I do think that virtual medicine has a place in, society. I believe that it can play a really key part in encouraging people to seek professional help when previously maybe someone didn't want to go to a doctor's office, or maybe they were having trouble matching with a therapist in their area. So I do think that virtual medicine definitely has a big role to play in society, but I also think that the negatives can quickly outweigh the positives when you think about these ads being placed and people self-diagnosing, if that makes sense. Some of you guys might remember last summer, I forget when it was, June or July maybe, I can't remember, but I did a video about normalizing therapy because for the longest time I think that therapy had this kind of negative emotion tied to it, where people felt shameful for wanting to seek counseling or see a therapist, and it was kind of like, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I know, even for me, like when I was, right out of high school, we're talking let's go back like 10 to 15 years, even during that period of time, there was this stigma attached to seeing a therapist. And if you were seeing a therapist, it was because you were dysfunctional, you were broken, you were, there was something bad about you, there was something wrong with you. And that is so, it couldn't be further from the truth. When we're talking about someone reaching out for help nowadays, I don't think that the stigma is still there like it was 15, 30, 40 years ago. So I think that we're in a really good place there. But I made that video about normalizing therapy just because depending on who you have in your circle or who you might come across, there can still be shame and guilt associated with that, whether it's your friends or family or just things that you might come across online. But I started to see a therapist. I said back then I was seeking therapy and did the video about it, and I ended up starting to see a therapist, and I see her online. So that's why when I'm talking about therapy or online medicine having a purpose, I can speak directly to the ease of access when it comes to just being able to utilize my phone and talk to a therapist. I should have probably started therapy right after my grandmother passed away, but I didn't, and I don't think that it's ever too late to start talking to someone, but talking to her has been helpful. Will I ever put all of the responsibility on a therapist? I'm not going to sit there and tell someone, oh yeah, you have to see a therapist, it will just like make all your life worries go away. That's just not the way that it works. But I do think that it's really helpful, and I think that it's been, having a therapist is kind of like having a life tool. It's kind of like adding something to your toolbox to help you through your journey of life. And sometimes go through a handful of therapists until I found someone that I liked. Luckily, I didn't have to do that. I really like the person that I'm seeing right now. I don't know if that will be the case a month from now or a year from now, but so far so good. But I don't know, I think that the mental health diagnosing side of TikTok can just be very, very detrimental to people that are, having a bad day, but then they're being told on TikTok that they have ADHD, they have anxiety, they're depressed, they have OCD. And some people might believe that. Maybe they don't have the money to go see a professional, and that's okay too, because not having money, not having insurance, unfortunately, is a very normal. It's very normal for a lot of people. Some of you guys know that I was working for a dermatologist ages ago. I did a story time about working for her. And when I was working for her, she had just started her practice. She was not offering health insurance for her employees. And so my entire time working for her, I did not have health care. And that was really, really difficult. But I also realized that it's very normal. It is not something that, it's not something that anyone should be shamed for or feel bad about themselves. Not having health insurance, not having dental insurance is a very normal thing. I totally understand how normal not having health insurance is. Totally normal part of many people's lives. So when you combine someone that has no health insurance with apps like TikTok that are diagnosing people based off of everyday symptoms of life struggles, those two can kind of collide and be kind of shitty. I've gotten so many comments on my Dad Challenge podcast video regarding his situation at his church, and that's crazy. But what's even crazier is the fact that there are some people still defending this motherfucker. I mean, you guys, I get it. Like, we all look at situations a little bit differently. But there are times in life where, in my opinion, you can't look at a situation and say, oh, well, that's okay. That's like people that were excusing Mandy from mistreating her cats and abandoning them when she abandoned her shed, and not telling anyone that they were there. Thank God they were rescued, and none of them were put down to my knowledge. I did an update. That's here nor there. But I don't know, to see people excusing this behavior, just, I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I know that some people, you can look at Dad Challenge podcast and say, okay, well, I like his snark and you don't. That's fine. Or I like this and you don't. And that's okay. But with this situation, how are you excusing it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. All right, so let's go in Target, and I'll see you in 2 seconds. All right, you guys, all done at Target. They didn't have anything that was like unique or different this time. They usually do, so kind of drove a few extra minutes out for no reason, but that's okay. There's a TJ Maxx not too far from here, so I think I'm gonna stop over there and see what they have going on. TJ Maxx is truly one of those stores where it's like different per location. You just never know what you're gonna find. I ended up getting just like the normal stuff that I needed. Laundry detergent, nail protein, Tide, fabric spray. Okay, let's see what TJ Maxx has, and I'll see you guys in 2 seconds. All right, you guys, I'm done at TJ Maxx. They didn't really have anything too interesting. I did buy a new hair towel because that brand, I think it's like Aquas, Aquas or something like that. Their towels, their microfiber hair towels at Target are $25 each, and I found it here for $10. So, but on my way home, what I want to talk about is this idea of, I see this a lot online, and it's just, you know, sometimes you just have to throw your hands up because there are some really interesting people online. But I've heard for the longest time, if you play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. And I think that that really rings true when you think about some of the nonsense that people do on the internet, thinking that their actions are not going to have consequences. If you act like an idiot, you're going to be treated like an idiot. And it's just crazy to me because you'll have people who sit there and do what we all say should never be done. Things like doxing, bullying people, harassing people, going real life. They'll do those things and then they'll get upset when the same thing comes back to them. It's truly baffling to me. And there's been several doxes that I've been aware of during my time online, and I don't understand, you know, when you go public with someone's private information, that's playing a stupid game. That is something that usually all YouTubers agree on. You don't dox people. You never go real life. Never, you know, contact people's employers or contact their family members. Those are just things that we all agree should never happen. But for some reason, people lose all grasp of reality once they feel pressure, or once they feel like they're being called out, or they're not being praised in the way that they want to be praised. You'll see people very, very quickly do things like doxing someone. You know, of course, naturally, we talked about Dad Challenge podcast with his dox of APOC. I've seen a lot of doxing. The one community that I've seen a ton of doxing in is the anti-Katie Joy community. I'm not sure why they're so infamous for doxing one another. Maybe it's just all the negativity that kind of can fester within, you know, some of those channels. I'm not sure, but I see that a lot in the anti-KJ community. And it's not just doxing, but it's just people flying off the handle and not being able to handle existing online with other people who might not think like you, they might not move like you, they might not talk like you, and it just seems like so many of these general internet rules are broken because that's the first kind of reaction that people have. Like, oh, I don't like what's going on here, so I'm going to dox this person because I know where they live. Or this person used to be on my side and now they're not on my side, and we happen to know information about each other that isn't public, so I'm going to go public with that. All of those kinds of things, that's what I kind of categorize as people playing stupid games. And what do you expect? Because once you start it, that's something else that I've noticed is once you kind of start this really scary narrative of being that kind of person, it only gets worse with time. Because usually the way that it snowballs is person one doxes someone that they don't like, and then the person that was doxed comes out with a video response, or that person might dox the person that doxed them, and then it turns into this tit for tat. There's a lot of toxicity being shared within the videos that are being done. Subscribers are put in the middle of it. Then you have people contacting employers, contacting other family members that might be on social media, and as it snowballs, it gains momentum, and it like, how do you stop it? How do you stop dangerous content once the snowball starts? I don't know. For me, I would think that don't play stupid games to begin with. If someone doesn't like you, they cannot like you all day long. Who cares? And if they're lying about you, people lie. People have lied about me during my short time online. Or they've, told half-truths to fit their side of the story. Like, I've, had it done to me. So I know that it sucks, and I'm not here to tell people to not feel their feelings, because I know that it's frustrating. But I think it's also just kind of knowing what you sign up for to a certain degree once you're online. You have to know that people aren't going to like you. You have to know that people are going to have a false sense of who you really are. People are going to come up with their own conclusions. They're going to come up with their own dialogue, and in order to further fit their own dialogue, they might lie. But you have to have enough self-control to not respond and fly off the deep end, because it really does just become this stupid game among, it's either among a few creators, or it might be between creators and subscribers. Then it bleeds over onto social media, Instagram and stuff, and it's just such a mess. I've said for the longest time, I've been on YouTube because it's my outlet. This is where I come, even though we talk about some serious stuff sometimes, like my video, from Saturday. That was a serious topic. So I do talk about serious topics, but all in all, I'm not coming onto YouTube to create hate. I'm not coming here to foster a really toxic environment, and I'm not here to add to the negativity, And it does feel like sometimes what people do is, instead of utilizing YouTube as an outlet for creating whatever it is that they want to create, they allow frustrations from their personal life to sort of impact the way that they act online. And that's where sometimes it ends up turning into, just a channel that is super negative and super hateful. And that's the other thing with people kind of coming up with their own conclusions. I've been told that my content is negative. Oh, you're just a hater, you're a bully, you're a mean girl, and that's just something that I've had to take on the chin. Like, if people come to that conclusion by watching my videos, it is what it is. I can no longer spend my energy that can be spent elsewhere doing things in my real life or making more content for you guys. What am I going to do? Sit there and just overanalyze the few comments that I get that are telling me that I'm a mean girl or a bitch? That's not useful for anyone, But anyway, those are kind of my thoughts for today. I hope that you guys are, ready for a good week. I think it's going to cool down here again and then warm back up. We're kind of in that period of time where one day it's 85 degrees and another it's 64, and then eventually it'll all be hot. So either way, hopefully you guys are good. But for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.